In this video, we will look at what microbes are. We'll start looking at the shapes of different types of bacteria, along with the structure and function of bacteria. So, microorganisms, what are they? So, microorganisms are microscopic organisms, which basically means that we cannot see them with our naked eyes. We have to use a microscope to see them. Now, in most cases, scientists use scanning electron microscopes, which are very, very powerful, and you can see microbes up close. Okay, so lots of the pictures you will see throughout these videos are using that type of microscope. You can use less powerful ones as well, but you basically can't see them in too much detail. So the major groups of microbes are bacteria, archaea, fungi, algae, protozoa, and viruses. Now we are focusing on three of them: bacteria, fungi, and viruses. So let's start diving into bacteria. Now bacteria, most of you know, are germs. So they are invisible creatures that can invade our bodies and make us ill. In a lot of cases, bacteria are actually quite good for us, and they can be beneficial, which we will look at later on. Okay, so bacteria are known as unicellular. Now have a look at what unicellular, the word itself, is meaning. So uni itself means single, and then cellular is the cell. So it only contains one type of cell. Now, if we think about humans, for example, we are known as eukaryote because we have multiple cells in us. So bacteria itself, they can be good, things like yogurt, probiotics, and they can break down feces in sewage works, and bad bacteria can cause mouth problems or your teeth to rot. Okay, so just a few examples there. So bacteria itself can be classified according to their shape. Now, they're not all the same shape. There are lots of different types of bacteria, and they have either one of these shapes. The first one being cocci, and then we'll look at these three. So cocci itself basically means spherical. They're spherical in shape, as we can see. Coccus is singular. Diplococci 2, Staphylococci is a group of them, Streptococci is a chain, Sarcina is a group again, and then Tetrad itself is 4. Okay, so it's basically a cubed version of that, so 8 overall. Okay, the second is bacilli, or rod-shaped. As we can see, they're long like sausages. The third is spirillum, or spiral shaped. We can see that it is quite spiraled like a spring. And then the last one is vibrio, or they are comma shaped. We can see that they look like a comma. Okay, so we've looked at the shape. We'll now dive into bacteria itself and look at the structure and function of the parts of the bacteria. Now, this is a bacilli or bacillus, okay, because we have a long elongated shape of bacteria. We've got a capsule, a cell wall, a plasma membrane, cytoplasm, ribosomes, plasmid, pili, flagellum, and nucleoid, which is the DNA. Now, you may be wondering what the plasmid and the nucleoid are. Okay, we will touch on that very shortly. So here are the functions of those parts. Basically, the capsule itself protects the bacteria and prevents dehydration. Some bacteria have this, not all of them. Now, the cytoplasm is where cell reactions occur. It is all that that space in between all of those other components. The cell wall is used for support, and it is quite strong and rigid. Ribosomes make proteins. Okay, so all of the proteins all of the parts of the bacteria itself are made by that DNA, and the ribosomes help to make those proteins. The cell membrane controls what enters and exits the cell, so bringing in oxygen and water, etc., and then expelling waste products. Chromosomes, a closed loop of DNA that controls cell processes. And then some bacteria have flagella, which are these long things here, and they're used to make the bacteria move. Okay, so how do bacteria get around? We just said that they have tails, these flagella, that let them swim. They rotate their flagella like propellers, and they can move through liquids quite easily. Some bacteria produce slime, and they can ooze over surfaces like slugs. Most of the time, bacteria stay in the same spot and don't really move around. Okay, so here's another picture just to reiterate what we just talked about. Okay, similar picture and with the labels on the right. So we looked at plasmids before and bacterial chromosomes. So these are quite different, and we will look now what they are. So plasmids are not essential to the day-to-day survival of the bacteria. So it basically means that the bacteria contains this DNA, this chromosome here, that is used for making the proteins and the day-to-day functioning of the cell, whereas the plasmids are not involved in any of that stuff. Plasmids are used mostly to overcome stressful situations like antibiotics, which we will touch on later on. Okay, that is the end of the video. Here is what we'll focus in the next video.